Welcome to an exciting new series on our YouTube channel. Think of it as a reality show that meets a documentary. Yes, it really is that dramatic. You see, we're following the fortunes of a mining company, and as we all know, mining is a crazy and exciting world, full of risk but also extraordinary reward. It's as close to Indiana Jones as a real job can get. But where do you even begin if you're a mining company? We've decided to find out by following the adventures of Midnight Sun to understand more about this sector. We began by discussing current market forces and demand.
As the world moves towards electrification, there's a huge demand for copper. For multi-decades going forward, we're now going to be in an increasing copper demand market. New projects, new deposits, new mines need to come on stream in order to satisfy that demand. If there are no new copper mines coming on stream and no major discoveries made, then we're in a serious deficit and we have a serious problem on our hands.
Okay, I think we can all see that there's growing demand for copper, but that doesn't mean it's easy to find. Given the size of the planet, where do you even start to look for it? Midnight Sun chose Zambia, and interestingly, one of the primary reasons for this was the number of other companies already mining in the region. But there is a delicious twist to this particular plot of land which makes it especially interesting, and that's why it lies at the heart of Midnight Sun's business plan.
Our neighbors are big, successful mines. This is the one that got away from the seniors, but it never quite gets away from the seniors. They're going to own it eventually. It just means it costs them more money to get it.
This is not a property that was left orphaned because nobody wanted it.
The Zambian government was very unhappy with the senior copper producers. They owned all the exploration ground in the country and were doing no exploration. They developed a policy of use it or lose it. They forced these senior companies to drop half of their licenses.
And so we took advantage of that and we managed to option this project at a time when copper prices were very low.
Now the strategy starts to reveal itself. Midnight Sun put in the work in the initial stages to de-risk the project for the bigger companies to swoop in and buy it up at a later date. But of course, they'll have to pay for that privilege. It's a simple plan, but Midnight Sun still have to cover a lot of ground in order to maximize their chances of success. At the end of the day, they still need to find copper, and lots of it.
In terms of quality and in terms of grade, if you look at the area surrounding our Solwezi project, and when you look at the grade that's an average mineable grade in the area, you're typically between 0.5 and 0.65%. In the case of Midnight Sun, what we've been finding so far is vastly higher than that. We've been looking at material in our drill intercepts that's anywhere from 1% up to 6 and 6.5% copper. One area in particular, which we deem our top exploration target, is an area called Dumbwa. And Dumbwa is a 20-kilometer long soil anomaly, which means we've gone in there and done soil sampling, and we've delineated a 20-kilometer long structure. One of the things that's most remarkable along that entire 20-kilometer structure is that we have these vegetation kill zones caused by high-grade copper material that's underneath the ground, underneath that soil. And so those are a really, really strong pathfinder and a signal that there's something very large happening there and that there's some kind of large system.
The next 2 or 3 years are going to be critical in the life of Midnight Sun.
Critical indeed. And despite all the positive signs and the scale of the other mines around them, Midnight Sun still need to dig deep in all senses of the word. That will require a huge investment of capital, so they're going to need some help.
We need to move this project forward in a way that gives our shareholders the biggest potential upside, that allows us to maintain our share structure, but to move these assets forward and leave as much blue sky as possible. We've cut a deal with KoBold. They're going to spend around 15 million US to earn a majority ownership of this project. But what that gains us is a couple of really critical things. Number one, now we're going to develop Dumbwa. We're going to see what the real potential of Dumbwa is, and we're going to find out what that system actually has. This is a company that is poised to be a serious player in critical metals, and so we're really proud to have them on board. And the stamp of approval that they put on this project by putting their money behind it is incredible.
What it also does now is leaves the rest of the concession, 2/3 of the concession is wide open to new geological theories and testing and excitement.
The business model unfolds further. The financial risk has been defrayed at the cost of giving up some ownership, but there are still 3 other sites to be explored. And of course, if copper is found at the first site, then the remaining sites all leap up in value. So a lot rides on the first mine delivering on its promise. We close this launch episode by asking Midnight Sun how they feel at this critical moment and what they want to happen next.
Our end game becomes developing this project. This is multiple opportunities for a big discovery. Everybody should have a magic list of ingredients that they're looking for in the ultimate project. Grade, geology, scalability, and jurisdiction. We have a 500 square kilometer project, multiple world-class mining companies completely surrounding us. We have a very clear goal in both finding a multi-generational asset and then developing that multi-generational asset to the point that it is appealing to a major mining company. At the point that we're ready, we will put this target up for sale.
Boom! This is a big, bold, and exciting strategy. Now you can see why we wanted to follow these guys on this journey. In theory, it's all very straightforward, but of course when it comes to mining, no one is ever sure what will happen next. Either way, it's a gripping and potentially very lucrative story, and we'll be following their progress to see where it goes next. Stay tuned.